There is a silence that feels heavier than noise. It is the silence of waiting for an answer that does not come. The silence of praying in the dark and hearing nothing back. The silence of watching others receive what you have been believing for, while your own hands remain empty. The silence of lying awake at night wondering if you are invisible, if your prayers are reaching anywhere at all, if the faith you have carried for so long is somehow not enough. If you know that silence, this message was written for you, not for a general audience, not for someone else who happens to be watching. For you specifically, in this moment, in this season, with everything you have been carrying. Because today, Archangel Michael brings a declaration that breaks that silence completely. Heaven spoke your name, not in passing, not by accident, not as part of a long list where yours was just one among millions. With intention, with attention, with the full weight of divine love behind every syllable. The creator of everything that exists paused and called you by name. And when heaven speaks a name, nothing in the universe stays the same. I remember a season in my own life when I genuinely wondered if anyone was paying attention. Not just wondering in a casual way, but the kind of deep, exhausted wondering that comes after a long stretch of silence. I had prayed consistently. I had chosen faithfully when faithful felt costly. I had held on when letting go would have been far easier. And still nothing seemed to shift. The silence felt less like peace and more like absence. Like the line had gone dead. And then I learned something that changed the way I understood what waiting actually is. The silence of heaven is never emptiness, it is preparation. The quiet before the word is spoken is the moment when everything is being aligned, so that when the word is released, it lands with absolute precision. Every piece in place, every person positioned, every door loosened just enough to swing open at the right moment. That is where you have been, in the alignment, in the preparation, in the holy and often painful quiet that precedes the breakthrough. And this message, arriving at this specific moment in your life, is the sign that the preparation is complete. The alignment has happened. The word is being released. Welcome to the Breath of Angels, a space created for souls who understand that the invisible world is just as real as the visible, who know that heaven's timing is not the same as human timing, and who are ready to receive what God has been preparing in the silence. Whether you are here for the first time or have been walking with us for a while, I am genuinely glad you are here. This message was prepared for you, for this season, for this specific moment on your path. Stay with me from beginning to end, because what is shared here is not general encouragement that could apply to anyone on any day. It is a targeted revelation about what it means for heaven to speak your name, what Archangel Michael is doing in this specific season of your life, and what you can expect to see unfold as this new chapter begins. Let us begin with something Archangel Michael wants you to understand fully and deeply, something that will change the way you read the last season of your life. When God speaks a name, He is not simply identifying, He is designating, He is releasing. He is setting something irreversible in motion. In Scripture, every time God called someone by name, something shifted permanently. He called Abraham and a covenant was established that would outlast every generation. He called Moses from a burning bush and a nation in chains found its way to freedom. He called Gideon a mighty warrior when Gideon was hiding in fear. He called Mary, and the impossible became the vessel of the miraculous. When God speaks a name, it is never casual. It is never a formality. It is always the beginning of something that cannot be undone. And today, with the authority He has carried since before the foundations of the earth were laid, He spoke yours. This does not mean your life will suddenly become frictionless. It does not mean the road ahead will have no challenges or that everything broken will repair itself overnight. What it means is the direction of your life is shifting. The momentum that has been working against you is losing ground. What was resistant is beginning to yield. Doors that stood closed through years of persistent knocking are beginning to move. Not because you found the right strategy, but because the one who holds all authority spoke, and that is enough. There is something the angels asked me to share with you in this moment, a deeper revelation about what is specifically moving in the spiritual realm around your life in this season. You will find it in the pinned link in the comments below. Do not pass it by. Every soul who was guided to this message today was also guided there. Right now in the comments, this declaration of faith: I am guided, covered and strengthened by the angels of God. Let these words go deeper than the mind, all the way down to the places in you that most need to hear this truth today. Say it like you mean it, because you do. I want to speak now about the tears, because Archangel Michael sees them, every one of them, and he wants you to know that not a single one was wasted or ignored. The tears you cried alone when no one was watching, when you pressed your face into a pillow so no one could hear. The tears that came in the car on the way home from something that should have been good but felt hollow. The tears that arrived without warning in ordinary moments because something small triggered a grief you thought you had moved past. The tears you fought back in public because you had learned that showing too much vulnerability costs more than it was worth. The tears you cried in prayer that felt like they evaporated before they reached anywhere at all. Every single one of those tears was seen. Everyone was caught. The Bible speaks of God keeping our tears in a bottle, of our cries being written in His record. This is not poetry designed to comfort without substance. This is a description of the way heaven actually works. Your tears are data. They tell the story of what you have been carrying and what you have been believing for and how long you have been believing for it without seeing results. And God reads that story with the attention of someone who is not missing a single detail. The prayers you whispered in the dark that felt like they dissolved into nothing did not dissolve. They arrived. The Bible describes our prayers rising before God like incense, ascending and accumulating until the moment of release. They do not evaporate. They do not expire. They build. And when the fullness of time comes, when everything is aligned, when the preparation is complete, they are released as answers. That release is happening now in this season, over your life. I have walked through seasons where I genuinely felt unheard, where I would pray and wonder if the words were landing anywhere, if the faith was making any difference at all. And I know that feeling from the inside. It is one of the loneliest feelings a person of faith can experience. To believe deeply and persistently and still feel like the believing is not connecting to anything real. But what I learned in those seasons, slowly and sometimes painfully, is that the feeling of being unheard is not the same as being unheard. God's listening does not depend on whether you feel heard. His attention does not fluctuate based on your emotional state or the quality of your prayers on any given day. He was present in every silence. He was working in every delay. And the reason the answer is arriving now is not that he finally started paying attention. It is that everything he was aligning in the background, every piece, every person, every circumstance, is finally in position. If this message is reaching you in a real and tangible way, I invite you to click the like button below. That gesture of support keeps this mission alive and allows these words to reach other souls who are carrying the same weight of waiting, who need to hear that heaven has not gone silent on them. I want to speak now about what Archangel Michael actually does when heaven speaks a name over someone's life. Because he is not a passive figure. He is not a symbol or a metaphor. He is a real and active presence. And he moves with purpose and authority when heaven designates a new season for someone. The scriptures describe Archangel Michael as a warrior, a guardian, and a prince appointed over God's people. When heaven designates someone for a new chapter, Michael is positioned at the threshold of that designation. He guards the entrance to what is being released. He ensures that what is meant for you reaches you without being hijacked, diluted, or delayed by interference. He stands between your breakthrough and everything that has been trying to prevent it. This means that in this season, the patterns that have been repeating against you are being interrupted. The cycles of discouragement that felt like they would go on forever are finding their end. The relationships and situations that were consuming your energy without returning anything of value are losing their hold. The lies that told you this was as good as it would ever get are being exposed as exactly what they are: lies. Michael does not accomplish this through drama or noise. He works with the quiet, irresistible authority of someone who answers to the highest power that exists. When he moves, things that seemed immovable begin to shift. When he guards, what was getting through stops getting through. When he clears the path, the way forward that seemed blocked opens with a simplicity that can feel almost startling. You may have already noticed small signs of this if you are paying attention. Situations that seemed permanently stuck beginning to have small movements. Clarity arriving about something that had been confusing for a long time. A sense of lightness appearing in moments where heaviness was your constant companion. Dreams that carry a different quality, a sense of direction or peace that stays with you after you wake. A feeling of expectancy that you cannot fully explain but cannot quite dismiss either. These are not coincidences. They are not wishful thinking. They are evidence of Archangel Michael in motion. Right now in the comments, I am chosen, elevated, and advancing into everything heaven has prepared for me. Say it as a statement of fact, because that is what it is. There is something about the nature of what God releases in a new designated season that I want to address directly because it may be different from what you have been expecting. In seasons of waiting and fighting and persisting, we often develop a certain posture. We learn to push hard. We learn to hustle doors open. We learn to force our way through resistance because resistance has been the constant companion of every step forward. And then heaven speaks a name and designates a new season. And the posture that was necessary in the old season becomes the thing that slows you down in the new one. What God releases in a new season tends to come differently than what we fought for in the old one. What is meant for you begins to find you rather than requiring you to chase it. Favor moves ahead of you and prepares environments before you walk into them. Connections appear that seem almost too perfectly timed to be coincidence, except you know they are not coincidence at all. Opportunities arrive through channels you were not watching because you were focused on the channels you were used to. I experienced this shift myself, and it was honestly disorienting at first. I kept waiting for the resistance to appear, for the effort to kick in, for the fight to begin. And what I found instead was a kind of grace I had not experienced before in the same way. Doors opening before I knocked. Conversations turning in directions I had not steered. Resources arriving through means I had not anticipated. The favor was real, but it required a different posture to receive it. Less striving, more trusting, less forcing, more following. Archangel Michael wants you to begin practicing that posture now. Not because effort is wrong or because faithfulness does not matter, but because in this season, what has been prepared for you does not need you to fight your way to it. It needs you to be open enough to receive it when it arrives. There is also something important to address about the people who have been in your life and those who are coming. Archangel Michael sees every relationship with perfect clarity. He sees who is genuinely sent to walk alongside you in this new chapter and who has completed the purpose of their season. And in the transition between seasons, there is often a natural clarification that happens in our relational world. Some connections that felt essential begin to loosen. Some people who occupied significant space start to fade without a dramatic ending. Just a quiet withdrawal that leaves room for what is coming. This is not loss, even when it feels like loss. It is preparation. The same way a garden cannot receive new growth without space being made. Your life cannot receive the genuine connections that belong to this new season without room being created first. And what is coming, in terms of the people heaven is directing into your path, carries a quality that may feel unfamiliar at first. People who see you clearly without requiring you to manage their perception of you. People who celebrate your growth because it genuinely delights them, not because they feel obligated. People who can hold your vision with you and speak to it with faith rather than skepticism. People who bring something real to the relationship rather than just filling space while quietly consuming your energy. This is what heaven releases when it speaks a name. When God designates a new season for someone, He also designates the community that season requires. He positions the right people and removes the ones who would compromise what He is building in you. And if this message is touching something real in you right now and you want to support this mission so it can reach others who are in the same season of waiting and transition, click Value Deme in the comments. That small gesture helps keep this going. Let me speak now about something that often gets overlooked in conversations about new seasons and divine breakthrough. It is the question of worthiness. Because many people who have walked through long seasons of waiting and difficulty arrive at the edge of something new, carrying a deep-rooted question they may not even be fully conscious of asking. Do I deserve this? Am I really the one this is for? What if I receive it and then prove somehow that I was not ready? Archangel Michael wants to address that question directly and clearly. The designation heaven makes over your life is not based on your performance. It is not a reward you earned through perfect faithfulness or consistent strength. It is the expression of God's covenant love towards someone He chose and called and has been preparing and sustaining through every season, including the hard ones, including the ones where your faith flickered and your prayers felt hollow and your best effort felt embarrassingly inadequate. You do not need to be perfect for this season to begin. You do not need to have it together. You do not need to be free of doubt or confusion or the lingering ache of things that have not yet been resolved. You need only to be open. Open to believe that the silence was preparation rather than abandonment. Open to receive what is being released without immediately questioning whether you deserve it. Open to step into a chapter that looks different from what you have known, and to trust that different in God's hands is not dangerous but designed. God spoke your name. That is the foundation. That is what this is built on, not your worthiness, His faithfulness. Write as your final declaration in the comments, Archangel Michael, where your light dwells, no shadow remains. I receive everything heaven has declared over my life in this season. Your tears were not wasted. Your prayers did not evaporate. Your waiting was not abandonment. Every single piece of what you have walked through was the preparation for what is beginning now. Archangel Michael is positioned at the threshold of your new season. He is guarding the entrance to what is being released. He is clearing the path. He is standing between you and the patterns that tried to follow you from the last chapter into this one. And the God who spoke your name has set in motion what cannot be reversed. This is not the moment for shrinking back. It is not the moment for talking yourself out of what you sense is real. It is the moment to open your hands, lift your eyes, and receive with the quiet confidence of someone who knows that what heaven has declared over their life is more certain than anything the natural world can throw against it. The season is here, not almost, not coming soon, here, and you, chosen and covered and advancing, are stepping into it now. If you are not yet part of our community, subscribe now to the Breath of Angels. This space was created for you, for your questions, your victories, and the revelations that heaven continues to send to those who are ready to receive. In the comments, share what moved in you today, what became clear, what you are choosing to carry forward from this message into the week ahead. Your words may be exactly what another soul needs when they arrive here in their own long season of waiting, wondering if the silence means they have been forgotten. They have not been forgotten, neither have you. Heaven spoke your name, and everything is changing now, amen.